All right, y'all, we are 4 months into my shopping ban. Welcome back, I'm Shannon, and this is the Wanderluster, where together we explore topics that will help you lead a more spark life so you can lead a life of adventure on your own terms. Holy cow, April was a busy month. I know I say that every single month, but if you've seen my previous video, you know that I'm actually donating a kidney at the end of May. So, funny story, despite the fact that my brain space was pretty well taken up by the fact that I have a surgery coming up and a big life change, you'd be surprised at how tempted I was by stuff in my no-buy year despite all of that. Like, I think sometimes, and you'll see this, I was probably a bit more tempted to shop in the month of April just as my old coping mechanism of like dealing with stress. But I have to say I resisted some pretty solid temptations in the month of April. Pretty proud of myself. Before we get into my temptations, what I spent money on, and what I learned, a quick recap on what a shopping ban entails in the first place. For the entire year, I'm not allowed to buy anything that isn't essential to my survival. So I can buy food, I can buy toiletries, but only when they need replacing and I've used up everything else, and I can buy gifts for other people or do charitable contributions. But there are plenty of things, and you'll see in my temptations list that I will get into, there are plenty of other things that I really wanted to buy that are not essential to my survival, but yet still tempt me 4 months in. So I do this recap video every month and I share what I was tempted by, what I actually spent money on that wasn't like food or clothes, or I'm sorry, food or like medicine or survival things, and then also what I learned for the month. So if that interests you, we're gonna get straight to it this month. All right, so what tempted me for the month of April? Turns out a heck of a lot. Even though my brain space was pretty much well occupied with some big life changes that are coming up, I still wanted to cope with stress by shopping. 4 months in, I apparently have not kicked the habit entirely because I was pretty well tempted this month. So what made it into my temptations list for the month of April that didn't actually make it into my shopping cart? Well, a couple of really cool things that I have a feeling I'm gonna wait for and I will get later. I think one thing on this list will shock you, but bear with me here. All right, so the first thing that I was really tempted by was actually a pin, and it's a rattlesnake don't tread on me play, and it was from Revolution Art Shop, and it was $12.50. I thought this was really badass and really cool, and I really wanted it, but it was $12.50 and I can't buy it, so it's the first thing on the list. All right, the next thing on my list was a necklace I saw on Instagram, and Brian Anthony's actually creates these necklaces, and the descriptions of these necklaces that come with it are usually what sells me on the darn things. This necklace was $46 and it was called Boundaries, and it's like a circle within a circle. And I read the description on this one, like what the necklace symbolizes, and let me read it to you. You can probably see why this is pertinent to me right now. Boundaries. I hope you know that it's okay to choose yourself. It's okay to walk away from those who do not value your worth. It's okay to be intentional with your energy and what you invest in. Oh yes, sister, preach. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say this is enough because I am enough. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to create a safe space for yourself. You are allowed to create boundaries. Please do not be afraid of creating boundaries in fear or forming walls. Walls keep everyone out. Boundaries allow the right ones in. The people who belong in your life will inherently strengthen the lines you draw instead of intentionally crossing them. Whew. Do not bend your circle for those who continue to break it. Do not change the rhythm of your heart in order to feel their love. Oh God, shattering, right? Do not compromise what's important to you in order to feel important to them. Be brave enough to set clear boundaries and love yourself enough to honor them. Oh, that was good. That was so good. And I was recently going through kind of a breakup with a guy I was kind of seeing. And this just was like, spear to the heart, because it was really true. And I wish I could buy this, but until then, I will just live vicariously through the meaning and the value of those statements by looking at the picture of it on my Instagram. It's fine. That one would have been worth 46 bucks because it was just like a hell yeah, that's what I need right now. So there's still value in just enjoying the message for what it was, but man, what a good necklace that would have been. All right, so this next one on my list might surprise some of you a little bit, but I actually wanted to buy a handgun. Yeah, weird, right? But bear with me here. You know that this year is all about picking up skills and experiences and moments as opposed to stuff. So in that spirit, I was like, you know what I really always wanted to learn how to do, much like changing a tire or being able to check the water meter at my house, is I want to learn how to operate and fire a firearm. I want to be able to have that skill in my arsenal should I ever need it, that I'm comfortable and, you know, even confident around a firearm and know how to handle it properly and all that fun stuff. But unfortunately, you kind of need a handgun to learn on before you learn to use it, and I don't have a handgun. And you know, was going down the process of finding a gun club and some concealed carry classes and things like that because I feel like it's a skill that I should have in my arsenal. And then I went through all of that research and realized that I would have to rent a gun every single time I do it, and that in addition to the what they call the eyes and ears, you know, the safety equipment and the ammunition to be able to learn how to fire a firearm would get really expensive. Yeah, so I nixed the idea entirely, and I guess I will have to learn how to fire a firearm unless I can borrow one from someone later. But yeah, man, $549. Eventually I would like to learn this skill. I think it's important. You know, I can change my own tire. I can, you know, cook scrambled eggs and all that fun stuff. But this is just one other thing I want to pick up eventually. And, you know, someday a firearm may come into my life, but this is not the year for it. This next one, we're going from like firearms to like Fiesta, but as you know, we celebrate Fiesta here in San Antonio, Texas, and they had this amazing flower crown for dogs at my local grocery store. It was $6.99, and I really freaking wanted it for my dog Matilda. She would have been so cute with a little, I doubt she would have even worn it, but I was super tempted. Yeah, $6.99. In that vein, I also saw a freaking guacamole dog toy, and it was $5, and I wanted that sucker as well. Like, Lord help me. I already have so many toys for these dogs, so that saved me about $11. Not bad. The next thing I really, really wanted was a berry lip color, which I feel like I've been talking about this entire year. I have reds, I have nudes, but I don't have any berry colors, and I still very much want a berry lip color. This one was $5 that I saw at the grocery store, and normally I would have been like, dude, it's $5. I don't have a berry, let me get it, but nope. It goes on the list as well, so another $5 saved. So I will get to my purchases in a minute. I did go to the liquor store here in Texas and get some fun new things to learn how to teach myself how to make the martini. But funny story, I went to the liquor store and got all the stuff to make a martini only to realize I don't have any martini glasses. That's the fun thing about when you're trying to focus on acquiring skills and experiences. Without the stuff, sometimes you do still need the stuff, but I made do with a regular, I think it's a wine flute or something I had around the house. I learned how to make a martini the way I like it, super, super dry with lots of extra olives and a little bit of juice, but I really would have wanted to pick up some extra glasses. I saw these glasses online. These are $31.92, and maybe I'll pick these up next year, but man, leave it to me. The second thing this month, I was like, I'm gonna pick up a new skill. Oh shoot, I don't actually have the things to acquire that skill, and God, I'm adorable. All right, the last thing I really wanted was this case that I saw from Casetify on Instagram. This case is $45 though. It's really cool. It's got this like goopy stuff that goes through it, and they have different colors, and they use like sand in the back or something and changes colors. $45 though. I have this case that I did have to buy during my no-buy year on my iPhone already. So I don't need a case. I can't justify this new case. I have one that was much cheaper that, you know, is gorgeous and does the job. But yeah, man, I saw this and I was like, man, this is mystic witchy cool. I really want this in my life, but $45 is for heck no. All right, so that all being said, how much damage would I have done had I been shopping like I normally shop? Well, $701 worth of damage. Holy heck. Yeah, I would have spent $701.41. That is a ton of money. And so what I typically do in these recaps is that I share this number, and then I take the money I would have normally spent and I invest it instead. But man, I've had a lot of expenses lately, and that $701 will be hard for me to come by out of my paycheck, but I have to say, I probably would have had a doozy of a credit card bill coming anyway and having to face that down had I not been more thoughtful like I was this month. So man, $701, whether it's invested or spent, is a lot of money, but it's gonna get invested and that feels pretty good. All right, and of course I get right into the nitty gritty of this video and my battery dies. So that being said, what were my notable purchases for April? All right, first things first, I had to take my dogs to the groomer. I normally do the grooming myself. This ran me about $91-ish because I had the works. I had everything from their nails trimmed to their teeth cleaned to their ears cleaned. And I kind of was stuck between a rock and a hard place because the groomer I normally go to was not available, and I had to go to a super expensive place, so $91 in the hole. Not super fun, but I should plan better next time so I'm not spending so much on dog grooming. The next two are really unfun and super adulty. I had over $1,800 I had to pay to the IRS for tax day, which really sucks. And I also had to pay my accountant $225. He is worth every freaking penny, I will say. He's a gem. But man, $1,800 tax bill really stung this month. Of course, one of the more fun things I spent money on was the aforementioned going to the liquor store. If you don't know this about Texas, we don't actually sell liquor in our grocery stores. We sell beer and wine, but you have to buy your liquor from a liquor store like Specs or Total Wine, and they're not open on Sundays, so it's kind of a pilgrimage to go to the liquor store and get your stuff. And I got some vodka, and I got some gin, and I got some vermouth, and all these adulty things, and I spent, whoo girl, $283.87, which makes me sound like an alcoholic, but I wanted to learn to make some more cocktails, and I wanted to have vodka because I'm going to be having people over, and it's nice to just have the stuff on hand, especially if it's a Sunday and you can't go to the liquor store, so I stocked up. And yeah, man, $283. I sound like a lush, but it was worth every penny, and I got to make some bomb-ass martinis in my like crappy martini glass. My one crappy martini glass. But yeah, $283, that actually made me happy. The taxes, not so much. Final big expense that I had is that I had over $2,100 in travel expenses that I will be needing for my kidney surgery that's happening in May, but I have to say that I will be reimbursed for those, and in fact already have been reimbursed for the bulk of it already. But yeah, I had to book a flight for my caretaker, a flight for myself, our Airbnb, rental car, all that fun stuff, and that added up really, really fast. All right, so April learnings. What did I learn in the month of April? Okay, so I learned nothing. I learned absolutely nothing in the month of April. I'm just kidding. I was trying to think of what to talk through on this section of like, what did I learn? Well, number one, I learned that people are amazing and they're very supportive, and that I'm really excited to donate a kidney. I've also learned that I need to plan better for like this skill acquisition, or learn how to borrow things a little bit better. I think a friend of mine is actually gonna provide me with some martini glasses that they have way too many of, which would be super great if that's the case. And I will, if I really do want to learn how to fire a firearm and things like that, maybe I could borrow something from someone and, you know, maybe could justify the purchase of ammunition. But yeah, just kind of funny that like, I was like, yeah, I could do this thing without buying anything. And I was like, oh, I kind of need to buy a firearm to do that. Otherwise I'm gonna have to rent it every single time I go, and that adds up really fast. So didn't really think that one through very well. Oh well. Alright guys, so that wraps up my April recap. Turns out I didn't learn a whole lot in the month of April, other than the fact that to sometimes learn a new skill you may need some supplies. Who to thunk? But, you know, I don't know if I will be able to take a firearm class without a firearm of my own, or go to the range, and if I want to keep renting it in order to learn the skill. I believe I will be provided with some martini glasses by friends who have too many. That's an easy solve, but in terms of picking up the skill of learning how to fire and care for a firearm and taking a class, I'll have to do some more research on that. But for right now, it seems like that's a no-go for me at the time. But that all being said, guys, thank you so much for spending your time with me today. We will put the April recap in the bag. I'm happy to see it go like I am every single month, because that means it's been another month of progress. If you are doing a declutter journey, a no-buy year, or something that's helping you live a more sparked or minimalist life, I want to hear how that's going for you. What's got you inspired these days? What have you been learning and working on? Your stories inspire me to my core, and I absolutely freaking love hearing from you. So if that is you, please leave me a comment in the comment section below. Introduce yourself so I can get to know you, and I will get back to you as soon as humanly possible, because you're cool and I love hearing from you. That all being said, guys, that wraps up this month, and until next time, I love you so much. Keep kicking ass, stay sparked, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.